Gakeun Alice, which is also known as Alice Academy, was a manga that was serialized from 2002 to 2013, written by Higuchi Tachibana, and it also has an anime adaptation of the same title that lasted from 2004 to 2005, I believe. Now, I kind of just wanted to make this video to speak my overall thoughts on the show and rant, so yeah. I think I watched this anime when I was in middle school before I read the manga, and I have read the manga twice fully. It's been a while since I viewed either of these, but from my memory, this story holds a special place in my heart. I am a huge fan of shoujo stories and romance. Now, warning, this video can contain some spoilers, but I'm just going to mention the very first episode and earlier part of the story and first chapter of the manga. I personally preferred the manga over the anime, but that's usually how I am when it comes to anime adaptations. Now, in the background, I'll just be playing this video of a speed paint I did of Natsume and Mikan, which are the two main characters in the story. Now, the overall plot is that we follow the story of Mikan Sakura, a 10-year-old girl who is very optimistic and energetic and lives with her grandpa. Her aloof and intelligent friend Hotaru Rimai transfers to the prestigious Alice Academy, and Mikan is sad to hear the news, and she hears rumors that the academy mistreats their students. So she runs away from home and goes to the academy to reunite with Hotaru, and she meets this blonde-haired teacher, Junarumi. Mikan learns that the school is for people with Alices, which are supernatural abilities, and the school is a government institution that trains and protects these students with Alices. Now, Narumi has the pheromone Alice, which basically can attract people to him, make them weak to his charm, and he can make them obey him. He also wears a few accessories that act as restraints because he has a powerful Alice. Now, while they're standing in front of the gate, he ends up catching a runaway student named Natsume Hyuga. And it's kind of funny, but if a person, like a little kid, gets exposed to Narumi's Alice, they get weak and can even faint. And Narumi gives a kiss on Natsume's cheek to basically put him to sleep. And Narumi, he tries to send Mikan away, actually, before he explains anything to her, but he actually realizes that his pheromone Alice does not work on her. And that's how he actually figures out Mikan has an Alice of her own. Because she cannot be affected by his Alice, she has the nullification power. So she's relatively immune to other people's Alices or can block others' abilities. This story definitely reminds me of My Hero Academia, this superpower like academy school. They're not training them to be heroes in this story, but more like training them to protect them and to keep them a secret. This school acts as a private institution, and they basically keep these Alices a secret away from the outside world. Now, the school is huge. There's 6 main parts. There's a headquarters, hospital, elementary branch, junior high branch, senior branch, and a central town. Like, this is an actual place to live in, but you can graduate from this place around when you graduate from high school, and you can leave when you're 20, I believe. Now, I do want to briefly mention that some details that I'm talking about may be incorrect. I'm kind of going big stuff on my memory and just bare research I did, like very bare, because I'm just lazy to go into detail. But I might redo this video and go into detail if people are interested. But yeah, now back to talking about the story. The setting overall of the story is huge, and you meet so many different characters. I think that's pretty common when it comes to these super like power stories. Like, they try to show many characters to show the different possibilities of abilities you can have. But I guess, and this manga did last for 31 volumes for over a decade. It has 180 chapters. There is also a spin-off manga that I have not read, since the main cast is different, but they're related to one of the side characters mentioned in this story in Gakeun Alice. But yeah, now because I'm going back to like the actual story. I was just explaining like the setting just now. When you go back to the story, Narumi takes Mikan into the academy to get enrolled, since she does have an Alice, and the school is a gated community from the public. The Alices are considered a secret, so once Mikan enrolls in the school, she has to live away from her family and live in this new environment. She cannot send letters back, have contact with the outside world, because if these students leave, they are likely to get attacked. Like, there's an organization, I believe, that tries to kidnap some of the students there. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. But when Mikan does reunite with Hotaru, we find out that Hotaru has an invention Alice where she can pretty much create anything that she wants, by which she's interested in, and the gadgets and inventions that she creates, they pretty much kind of work like magic. Like, she's made this, I think, this penguin that pretty much just functions on its own, like it kind of has a personality and character to itself. She has this huge fly sweater. I don't remember if she created it, but she has some of the craziest and childish inventions. This story definitely feels like there's moments where the stuff that happens feels childish, and it makes sense because they're elementary students. Like, Mikan is 10, a lot of her classmates are. I forgot what grade that she's in, Mikan, but she's definitely an elementary student, and yeah. Now I just want to kind of get into talking about the characters. I think I've explained the very bare premise of the plot. Oh yeah, Mikan, she now has to live and stay in this environment and basically grow, train her powers, power for notification, and yeah. And she goes and meets so many different characters and has all these experiences, and this story definitely reminds me of Fruits Basket when it comes to the large cast and the relationships. Gakeun Alice does a fairly good job, in my opinion, when it comes to the characters' interpersonal relationships, how they interact. And the main character, Mikan, I just love her as a protagonist. She feels like a kid. She's one of the characters where I feel very connected to. She's very optimistic and cheerful, and she lived with her grandpa, and when she reunites with Hotaru, she's crying. She's so happy to see her, but Hotaru ignores her. She's trying to like get a top spot or something for like a good behavior award, I think, to get some benefits and stuff. The story definitely puts a lot of attention to Hotaru and Mikan's relationship. So a lot of people say that their relationship can feel relatively one-sided because Mikan, she shows a lot of affection and care for Hotaru, while Hotaru, she's an aloof and cold character at times. She doesn't express her emotions. She always has this stoic face, and she rarely reciprocates any affection that Mikan displays towards her, and even belittles her at times. But I do believe that Hotaru loves and cares for Mikan. She definitely does in the manga. Like, the anime only touches a very small surface of the manga plot, and I really want or wish that the anime could get a Fruits Basket treatment where they remake it and they cover the entire manga. Because there's so many good moments, and like they go into the psychological part sometimes, but there are times where I just read the story and I'm like, I can't believe these are kids doing all of this. And the one thing I will say, I didn't like Hotaru that much in the anime. She didn't attract me much as a character, but when you get into the manga, you see her thoughts and her perspective, and you get into more of her family background, and it's very interesting. She reminds me of another character that I'm going to talk about, Natsume Hyuga. I mentioned him before. That was the kid that Narumi, the blonde hair teacher, captured, and he has the Fire Alice, which is basically pyrokinesis. He can manipulate fire to his will. He's very powerful, one of the youngest in his at the school to be at the level that he is, master pretty much. Oh yeah, I didn't mention this, but the school has a ranking system with stars. Like there's no star, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, and special stars. I don't remember the exact details of them, but you did get special benefits and perks for this basically. And now back to Natsume. Natsume is pretty much the bad boy of the class, and he often disregards words. He can be pretty cruel, and he even sexually harasses Mikan. In the beginning of the story, I don't know how I ended up liking him so much later on. I think I definitely will try to reread the manga, but let me tell you, the way he's introduced made me feel like he was catching bodies left and right. Mikan and Natsume very much remind me of Sana and Akito from Kodocha, or Kodomo no Omocha, which also translates to Child's Play. They have a very similar dynamic, and I would definitely recommend that manga and anime. If you liked Child's Play, if you like Kodocha, I would definitely recommend Gakeun Alice too, and same vice versa. It's funny because I ate up these male leads. By the way, this is a shoujo reference. Yes, the story is. I ate up these male leads that are cold, grumpy, and rude, but I would never want a guy like this in real life. And yeah, but the story does a great job with characters, and I really do appreciate Mikan and Natsume's trust for each other as they grow and appreciate each other. They very much, like I said, they remind me of Sana and Akito, and I really like old school shoujos. I feel like a lot of them go into the feelings and characters and who they are and why they behave like this. And I think I could say that for the whole shoujo genre itself, but I will admit that the story does have problematic elements. I feel like so many shoujos do. Like Fruits Basket is one of my favorites, but there's a lot of problematic stuff, and I won't mention that much now, but that's all I wanted to say. Thanks.